I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're taking a deep dive into the transformative world of a powerful book. It is called Rebuilding Your Temple with Self-Esteem from the Inside Out. It is written by the insightful Dr. James E. Bruce. In this empowering session, Dr. James equips us with the tools to identify and uplift our self-esteem using the unique metaphor of renovating a rundown house to reflect our inner rejuvenation. Join us right now as we uncover the methodical approach to regain balance and rediscover the awesome individual within each of us. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team over at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Doctor, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Let's start out with a definition. When you talk about self-esteem, what are you talking about?
Well, self-esteem, it can be looked at from a couple of different dimensions. One is how you see yourself and how you perceive others see you. And also actually how you feel about others as a reflection of how you feel about yourself. It sounds kind of like twisty, but it actually makes sense. It's like how you feel and those things that make you feel happy or sad or excited that impacts, and certainly how you feel is tends to be a reflection of how you behave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you feel bad about yourself, if you feel you're unworthy, if you feel you're not smart, if you feel you're unsuccessful, that's going to come across in your interactions with others, the way you carry yourself, right? It's going to reflect in your entire life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's how you feel, and also that in how you feel about others. Because if I have a lot of trust and confidence in you, I may tend to value what you say and how you behave towards me. And it becomes a reflection of how I feel about myself based upon the way you feel about me.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a symbiotic relationship. You're both feeding off each other. That's for sure.
Exactly.
I love the metaphor of rebuilding this old house. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about your approach to rebuilding a person's self-esteem and comparing it to renovating a house.
Yes. I think I'm an educator, by the way. And so that tends to allow me to be pretty visual. And I'm a communicator. And I figured out a way to meet anybody and be able to connect with them. If you meet them where they are, and them being where they are is for what they understand. And everyone understands houses, and in our, in our communities, we can see houses perhaps just falling down for whatever reason. And I thought about this whole concept of what we see and who we are, our relationship with our environment. And I saw that, like a house that falls down, sometimes we can tend to fall down. And of course, that house needs to be rebuilt. And so the metaphor I use in the book is like, if you look out your window and say, Mrs. Jones's house looks like it's kind of like falling down. So you got to go to knock on the door, Mrs. Jones, from my window, looks like your house is falling down. And she said, what are you talking about? So she goes across the street, looks from your view. She said, wow, you're right, it's leaning. And so she'll call in a contractor. He or she will pull off the siding and the insulation and the plywood and the sheetrocking, all the way down to the bare studs. And it involves an inspection. Like when we feel bad, we try to feel what's going on. So the contractor may begin examining each of the studs. He said, well, this one is kind of charred from a 50-year-old year ago fire. This one is termite infested, this is water rotted, this is dry rotted, and so forth. So they'll begin going through a process of repairing, restoring, or replacing. And that's how I use things. So when we find things going on wrong with us, we begin inspecting. Oh, my stomach hurts. Was it that I ate too fast, or ate too much, or the food was bad? So you give me inspecting that process, going through that process. And when you realize, well, the food was actually kind of bad. So you begin changing. So you replace it. Well, I won't eat this because I'm allergic to it, and I'll try something different. So that's how we can rebuild it. And at the beginning of your opening, I was actually smiling as I was thinking about how easy it is as I see it. And I offer in the book how easy it is really to begin rebuilding yourself, and not so much relying on someone to tell you, well, you need this, you need this, but you tend to know that that food was bad, or that those friends are not so good to you, that make you feel down and sad and embarrassed. Yeah, so we can begin inspecting and examining all those aspects that tend
A
to.
lot of the scripts that are written in our head are put there by our parents. They're telling us we're either smart or we're dumb, we're handsome or we're ugly, we're good or we're bad, and so on. So I'd
Absolutely.
imagine a part of that is rewriting the script in your head, right, Doctor?
Absolutely. And what goes into it is try to work toward the to the level, I guess, the plateau, to understand yourself, to really understand yourself. And part of understanding yourself is to understand who you are, and what you want, what you don't want, what you'll do and what you won't do. So you create the boundaries or these guides, these rails within yourself, and you say, well, that can't be possible because I know I didn't do this. I don't believe that, and I won't buy into it because I just don't believe in it, and it won't impact. Because if I believe in something, if I follow something I don't believe, then I'm like a fake, and then I'm not really comfortable with who I am, and which is gonna change my behavior to be quote unquote abnormal,
Yeah.
so unusual. So
What's a good first step for someone to take who's watching our show today? Buying your book is essential because it'll give them the whole blueprint, which I think is great. But to give them a little teaser today, to tell them what they can do to improve their self-esteem, what's something you would say that first step would be?
well, in the book, I create like a questionnaire to ask yourself, who am I? Just kind of like, who am I? And part of who am I goes way beyond. I'm not even considering that I'm a PhD,
Mhm.
or I'm a psychologist, or I'm a teacher or a bus driver, because that's sort of just aside the point. But who am I? I'm a person who believes in myself. Um, I believe that I'm honest. I'm a good person. And if you could begin with that, and well, sometimes I'm not such a good person, and everyone wants to be good, right? Most people should want to be good,
Mhm.
but I think so. Well, I'm sort of grumpy at times. So begin narrowing, focusing on what causes me to be grumpy.
Yeah.
Is it myself, like you referred? You said, is there something my parents told me before?
Mm.
Or is something that's causing me to be grumpy because I'm putting too much thought um, into that feeling. So that I would begin with that. So looking at
So basically a
all my
self-questioning, a self-awareness, right?
exactly self-awareness, and how do I feel about myself? What do I know about myself? And how much trust or credence do I put into others who think about me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's interesting. There's this concept in communication theory called the jari window, that we know about ourselves, that others know about us, and that which we don't know and others don't know as well.
that's
So
good.
there is kind of a mystery to us. Tell me a little bit about being honest with yourself. During that self-appraisal, it's important to be honest with yourself, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because as I said, I use the word fake. If you're not honest with yourself, you're a fake. And only until the time one could continue to be a fake until they have to admit that, yes, I was faking the funk.
Exactly, exactly. To this above all, to thine own self be true, right? Is the
Absolutely.
famous saying. Let me ask you about your writing career. Is this your first book? It looks like I see some book covers behind you.
They're behind me. In fact, last week was my birthday, and I released my book number 56.
Wow.
56. And I've been writing over the past 30 years. And if someone, well, how would you describe yourself? All of my books, by the way, are very inspirational, motivational, encouraging, empowerment, enlightening books. And I would, if I were to label myself, I would call myself an inspiration agent.
Hmm.
An inspiration agent, if from the titles and labels
Yeah,
and
exactly.
identities, I would call it inspiration, because what I do is I enjoy. This is part of my passion. I love lifting people up. I love
Hmm.
encouraging them, because you know what that means? When they when they're lifted, guess what? Their friends and their families, they're also lifted. And they say, I love being with Logan now. He's a great guy. And they're excited about life and excited about themselves and others.
Exactly. That energy is contagious. If you're truly happy to see someone, if you're happy to help them, if you're empowering them to achieve their goals, you're also empowering yourself because it comes back to you. As they say, nobody stands as tall as when you stoop to help a child. And that's
Absolutely.
the same thing. Which brings me to your career as an educator. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've been teaching for more than 15 years. I worked in Boston Public Schools, and back in 2009, 2010. At that time, there were 128 schools in the district. The nice, flavorful thing I like about teaching as a substitute, I can at times pick and choose when, where, and if I want to work. And it also allowed me a nice spread of experiences from kindergarten to 12th grade. So I got in Boston, as you pointed out, it's a diverse city, a lot of cultures, a lot of different lifestyles, and I enjoyed that exposure. I enjoy teaching the fun subjects. I call it fun subjects. About music and art, science, writing, read. I love those fun subjects, and it allowed me to just be with a free spirit and an open heart. I then later taught for a short time in Brockton, Massachusetts, in their school system. And then 2015, I moved off to Beijing, China. I was there for 3.5 years. And so that was another thrill for teaching diverse population, different understanding and perspectives. And I was really inspired by that. So, and all the while I continued writing and seeing and understanding my experience. And one of the things a point I made very clear to my students, I said, listen, I'm here to learn about you. Yes, I know I'm your teacher, but I'm a student first. And I know that the more I learn about you, China, the custom, the culture, the more I learn about me. So at a point, I know who I am, what I'll do, what I'll tolerate. So that's a very good point. And for me, that references back to the book. It's really the point of the book is to look toward a balanced life. Try to have a balanced life. And I try to pass on that inspiration every day.
Absolutely. The title of your book is Rebuilding Your Temple with Self-Esteem from the Inside Out. When you refer to your body and your person as your temple, there's some religious overtones there as well. Are you a religious person? Do you think people should view their body as their temple?
Well, I used to be religious per se, but as I grew older, I understood what religion is all about. For me, it's really not about the religion; it's about the spiritual. The spiritual, because the spiritual, it's there already. You just have to tap into it.
Also, the spiritual is universal. It's universal too. It doesn't, it's not this denomination or that religion or that faith. Everybody is spiritual on one level, right?
Absolutely. And that's what I said, you in your spiritual, which goes into your emotions, what you really feel, what guides you, what directs you. Whereas religion, you have to constantly adopt to different nuances and dogma and so forth. So
sometimes it divides us too, which is not great. But
absolutely. So
your book is terrific. It is called Rebuilding Your Temple with Self-Esteem from the Inside Out. It's written by a very insightful author. His name is Dr. James E. Bruce. He's a lifelong educator as well and an inspiration agent, as he likes to say. And today he has equipped us with some tools to identify and uplift our self-esteem by using the metaphor of rebuilding a rundown house or a dilapidated house. This book is a great blueprint that'll put you back on the right path to rebuild your life and rebuild your relationships, both personally and professionally. It's wonderful.
And Mr. Crawford, the other day I was thinking, you look at people, sometimes people are like so stressed out about a lot of things. And I came up with this idea that, and I want to share it. It says, if you live a flexible life, you'll be happy every day. If you live a flexible life, you'll be happy. And I'm a songwriter, singer-songwriter.
Oh, okay.
Songwriter. He goes, if you live a flexible life, Yeah, you will be happy every day if you live a flexible life. Yeah, you will be happy every day. Don't worry about the small things. They will only confuse you. Don't worry about the small things. They will only abuse you. Don't worry about the rain. Don't worry about the snow. Don't worry about the wind. Just get up and go.
Wonderful. That was beautiful. You got a beautiful voice. The lyrics
Thank
are
you.
inspirational as well. Doctor,
Thank,
thank you again so much for your time.
no, thank you so much for the opportunity.
My pleasure. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.